Recording.
Okay, so I'll call this meeting of the Canmore Planning Commission to order. My name is Jeff Roberts. I'll be chair of this meeting today. All questions and comments shall be directed through the chair, and I'll introduce or allow the board members or commission members to introduce themselves. Starting in checkerboard, my top left, Florian.
Florian Youngin.
Okay.
Doug Wright.
Okay. Joanna.
Joanna McCallum.
Okay. Larry.
Larry Bowen.
Okay, and that's it. The other two members are unable to attend today. Maybe I could get staff who are online, town administration online, to identify themselves. Starting with Lauren.
Lauren Miller, Manager of Planning and Development.
Jolene.
Jolene Noel, Recording Secretary.
Jane.
Jane Dean, Permit Clerk, Tech Support.
And Alaric.
Yes, Alaric Fish, Senior Planner and File Manager for this application.
Okay, thank you. We all have had a chance to review the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda as provided?
There are none.
Pardon me? Florian, just how we do? Good to go. Joanna?
Yep, good.
Good to go. Doug, good. Larry, good. Okay, fair enough. So I move that the commission adopt the agenda as presented. Those in favor, all raise your hands. So unanimous. Motion carried. We have two sets of previous minutes to approve here. We have the October 9th, 2019 meeting minutes that were reviewed in the January meeting, but the approval of those were deferred to correct some minor errors that were in there. Any comments, additions, deletions associated with the October 9th meeting minutes? Thumbs up for those that, if we're all okay with those. Larry, okay, there we go. Okay. Move the commission approve those minutes from October 9th as presented and amended. Those in favor, raise your hands. All passed unanimously. Okay, for the January 29th, 2020 meeting, everyone had a chance to review those. Is there any changes, additions, or deletions to those minutes? If we're all good, thumbs up. Okay, I move that we approve those minutes as presented. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Okay, moving on to the application. So the process for the evening will follow, or the afternoon will follow, is administration will present the matter before the commission. Alaric will carry that on. What I'll do then is provide an opportunity for each of the commission members to ask questions for clarification, sort of working my way across the Zoom screen that is on here. We'll have the applicant, should they wish to speak and make it to their application, we'll have allow them 5 minutes to speak. Then we'll work through the commission members to have an opportunity to ask any questions of that. We'll look to see if there's any members of the public that are looking to speak on that, and then we'll work our way through again, should there be members of the public who wish to speak. So, and last and final word here, remind anyone that's on here that communication is to be respectful and on topic for the application. So having said that, Alaric, I'll turn this over to you to proceed with the presentation.
Great, thank you, Chair Roberts. I will share my screen with the commission members and the public. Hopefully you can see that and hear me adequately. So these are amendments to a previously approved application, DP 2019-169, which is for a mixed use light manufacturing development. So in January of this year, CPC approved this application, but as we worked through the building permit process, there were some changes to the original approval that were proposed by the applicant. Overall, the development is very similar, as you'll see, but one of the changes is more substantive around building height. So administration felt that this change should be reviewed by the original development authority, given that there were variances associated with that piece of approval. So just quickly, a reminder that the site is located here. It's just to the west of Bow Valley Trail, south of the new Ford dealership, and sort of across from the Lincoln Park area and the Stone Ridge Hotel area here. So like I said, there's some small changes. For example, on the development permit, you can see there were some windows on the first floor that have now been moved up to the second floor. Those are sort of inconsequential, and it's normal to see that. There's been some slight changes to this site to add some amenity space on the sort of north side of the building. Again, completely normal side of, or sort of scale of change in development. So no concerns there. As I mentioned, there has been one significant change to the building height in an effort to gain a little bit more sort of space on the second floor. The applicant has added a bit of height by moving the roof line slightly higher. So it's difficult to see on these drawings, but the high eave, what they call the high eave, was at 33 feet or a little less than 11 meters. And you can see now it's at 34 feet on their drawings. The top of their parapet wall was 34.5 feet or 10.52 meters, whereas now it's 36 feet. So it's been raised 45 centimeters from 10.52 to 10.97. Because the building is basically a box shape, administration calculated the eave line is 10.52 meters, effectively the top of the parapet wall. That original application, or sorry, that interpretation was shared with both the applicant and planning commission at the meeting. So administration was somewhat concerned about this change being a little bit more substantive, and that it was not consistent with the original approval. Hence, we felt we should bring it back to planning commission. So this is the section drawing from the building permit drawings. There's a lot of detail in this drawing. None of it's really relevant. I just want to show you that overall the building is basically unchanged, but slightly higher, so it doesn't match the development permit that was approved. So they based their changes on the definition for building height and eave line height. They had some slightly different interpretations from administration, and just talked about the feeling that the eave line height still fit within the 10.52 meters. So they're measuring at 34 feet or 10.52 meters, and felt that although they increased the height of the building, it still fit within the definition. They also pointed out that in the building height definition, the parapet wall should not be counted, as it's specifically excluded in the height calculation in that definition. So the final piece is just at the bottom there. Eave line height is measured at the intersection of the roof and wall. wall, hence what they've called the high eave. So again, their perspective is that that aligns with the 10.52 meters. Critically though, we have the conditions of approval for the development permit. So while the matter of definition is sort of academically interesting, the matter at hand is whether or not CPC wants to approve the slightly higher building. Although the proposed change increases the height and mass of the building, administration is satisfied that the proposed change will not substantially change the impact of the building at this location. And that's primarily because the site location is adjacent to Bow Valley Trail, but kind of downhill from it. So the main floor elevation will be 3/4 of a meter lower than the edge of the road. So the site, as we talked about in January, is already a fair bit lower than some of the surrounding area, particularly in the public road. So although it's a small change, we felt it was important to bring back to Planning Commission, but overall we're recommending approving the proposed amendments. So it's a fairly simple change at this point, but I'm happy to answer any questions that commission members have.
Okay, thanks, Alaric. So I'm just trying to take a peek here. So let me start with Florian. Any questions or comments?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Joanna?
No, I don't have any questions. It's pretty well laid out.
Okay, thank you. Doug?
No, no questions. Pretty straightforward.
Okay, thanks so much. Larry?
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to be a little different. In your summary there, there's a comment that they added some ceiling height in the on the second floor. So
Yes, that's correct.
So they just made the second floor more appealing to the tenants or to the occupant then?
Yes, that's true. There is a minimum ceiling height on the first floor, and the key there is to ensure that we have enough space that the sort of light industrial manufacturing uses can occur on that first floor. So it sort of protects that. In the end, it sort of squeezes that top floor a little bit. And so the applicant is trying to make that space a bit more functional.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. The only question I have, Alaric, is, and it's related to Larry's, and that second floor area, one of the possible uses is for that is staff accommodation, is it not?
So when it was approved in January, the bylaw didn't allow that. There is a new bylaw in place now, and there have been some discussions, although no applications at this point, for employee housing to be located on that second floor.
Right, but this would make it more amenable to that, I would guess.
Yes, I think it would.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions. Is the applicant online and wishing to address the commission?
She is not logged on, no.
Yeah, I just got a message from the applicant that she will not be attending.
Okay, that's fair enough. So this is pretty straightforward. We do have a recommendation from staff. Do we feel there's a need to discuss this this further? Florian.
Maybe just make one comment. I think it's sort of hard to find a way that this would negatively affect the community or the neighborhood, you know, adding basically the 50 centimeters of eave line height onto what's already been approved. So I don't see any reason not to support this proposal. I'll just make a comment that there is a substantive variance to the building height. You know, it's almost 3 meters now, which is a full story. And in recent memory, we've looked at residential projects, CPC, where we've discussed 10 centimeters of variance to building height and whether that's justified or not. And sometimes there's high water table and a requirement for ground floor to be at a certain elevation. And so I understand that this is not a residential project, and in relatively more dense residential neighborhoods, height is more of a sensitive issue. But this is a substantive variance. I mean, it's probably in the realm of over 40% above the permitted height. So I just wanted to mention that, it's probably, to me, it's tiptoeing the line of what is acceptable, like how far over you get to go before you're called on it. So just wanted to make that comment. I don't see any reason not to support this proposal. I think the minor changes doesn't have any significant negative impact on anything.
Okay, thanks, Florian. That I guess I shared your concerns there, but came to the same conclusion myself. Joanna, any comments?
No, I was pretty much channeling what Florian had to say in my mind. It is not substantive. It's not really in a residential neighborhood. There's such a lot of effect, but I can see how it feels like it's pushing the envelope a bit more than it should if it were in a residential neighborhood.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Doug.
No, I've got no heartache with the increase. We debated and discussed the variance back in January. We already allowed that one. This is a minimal increase to that. And yeah, agreeing with Florian and Joanna, where is the bubble? Where do you break that line? But I think this one's good enough. It's location specific on this.
Yeah.
And as was explained, the variance is justifiable. So I will vote in favor.
Okay. Larry?
No, I agree with everybody. The variance today is very minor, and considering the location and the fact that the property is lower than normal already, I see no reason to stop this or not to approve this.
Great, thanks, Larry. Yeah, my comments are very similar. This is location specific. It doesn't necessarily set a precedent for any other applications coming forward. So, and it does not have a deleterious impact on the neighborhood at all. So, having heard this discussion, and I think we're all in favor of this, I'd like to make a motion to approve this decision and follow the recommendation of staff to approve this application. So all those in favor, show of hands. It's unanimous decision. Great, thank you. Moving on to Jolene, do we have any other matters of business that we need to discuss today?
We do not know.
No. And next meeting is scheduled for the last week of October.
Yes, October 28th at 2 p.m.
Okay. So I move to adjourn this today's meeting, and thank you all for attending. All those in favor of adjournment? Great. Passed unanimously. Thanks.